European and U.S. cyber warriors work amid unique responses to nation-state attacks in a recent training exercise held by NATO, allowing operators inside simulated civilian networks that illustrate the tactical complexity and legal gray areas that dog cyber warfare operations in real life. Dubbed Cross Swords, the exercise was conducted on computer networks of civilian infrastructure providers like phone and power companies in order to simulate and attack hardened military systems. What we wanted to do is match the real-world environment in which cyber operations take place and show the interdependencies between military and civilian networks, said Ariantum, project manager of technical exercises at the center. The legal issue, or maybe 2% of what went into the exercise. The exercise, staged by the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence in Tallinn, Estonia earlier this month, comes as European countries like Sweden and Italy gear up to combat possible Russian cyber meddling in forthcoming national elections this year. The simulation also comes as there is growing concern about recent intrusions by state-sponsored Russian hackers into power companies and other critical infrastructure providers on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. The players were cyber officials from 15 of the center's 21 NATO and EU member nations, with help coming from the Latvian mobile telecom provider LMT, an unnamed major company that builds and maintains electric grid infrastructure, and other private sector providers of critical infrastructure and services. Industry partners contribute, too, the organization and setup of the exercise, both with their technology, systems and expertise, said center spokeswoman Kadri Kut. That's important, say experts, because those companies' networks are very different environments from the ones that military cyber operators are familiar with and generally get to exercise on. In real life, the hardened military networks that cyber warriors practice defending in conventional exercises are riddled with connections to more vulnerable civilian infrastructure. As a result, the involvement of civilian infrastructure providers in the planning and design allows the exercise to achieve a greater degree of fidelity, explained John Yarger, technical manager of modeling, simulation and exercise in the SIR division of the Software Engineering Institute, part of Carnegie Mellon University. Yarger, a retired U.S. Marine Corps communications officer, leads a team that builds simulations and does other cyber wargaming work with the Pentagon and U.S. Cyber Command. He says exercises like Cross Swords rely on a relationship of trust. They're going to know their own equipment better than anyone, Yarger said of the civilian critical infrastructure and service providers, but all of that information about their networks is sensitive because it's a blueprint for attacking their infrastructure. Exercises like Cross Swords, he said, give military cyber defenders the chance to practice, in a high-fidelity simulation, the tactics, techniques and procedures, or TTP, they would use in a real-life operation involving civilian infrastructure. The exercise took place on a cyber range owned and managed by the Estonian Defense Forces. The center's experts built a large, sophisticated virtual environment recreating the computer network of a major military base in a fictional country, and the very different networks of its civilian telecommunications and electric power infrastructure providers. The black box problem. The exercise was an opportunity for military cyber specialists to familiarize themselves with computer networks built to resemble those of civilian critical infrastructure providers, in this case mobile telephone and electric power providers. Experts say that gaining access to or control over the networks of those companies would give hackers an excellent backdoor to penetrate hardened military IT systems and leave cyber defenders operating on unfamiliar territory. It is understandable that military experts aren't familiar with those civilian networks. They are not working on a daily basis. But they are dependent on them, said Rientum. It's a black box problem. The new aircraft carrier will be built for the Russian Navy, said Nikolai Maximov, head of the Institute of Shipbuilding and Armament of the Military Training and Research Center of the Navy of the Russian Defense Ministry. It's reported by FRAX. The aircraft building complex is planned to be built, which will include the aircraft carrier itself, the air wing and the location system, he said on the Zvezda TV channel. A new aircraft carrier will combine the ski jump ramp for takeoff and accelerating device, said channel head of Department of Forward Planning of Ships of the Military Educational and Scientific Center of the Navy of Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation Vladimir Popeliev. If you combine the ski jump ramp and the accelerating device, Then we will increase opportunities off weight of the aircraft, he said. According to him, on board the aircraft carrier will be based on the Su-57 fifth-generation fighter, in the case if the decision on the establishment of its marine version. Su-57 will be adopted for the deck, if it is decided, said Pakaleev.